Imagine opening your phone and discovering that one country controlled almost every package moving between Asia and Europe. Phones, silk, spices, gold, glass, ideas, religions. Everything had to pass through them. That sounds like something straight out of a strategy game. But around 2,000 years ago, one kingdom came surprisingly close. It wasn't Rome. It wasn't China. It wasn't Egypt. It was the kingdom of Kushan. Today, hardly anyone talks about it. Yet for centuries, the Kushan Empire sat at one of the most important crossroads in history, connecting east and west through what we now call the Silk Road. By the end of this video, you'll understand who the Kushans were, how they became incredibly wealthy, why traders depended on them, and why one of history's most influential empires slowly disappeared from popular memory. Let's begin. First, one myth. The Silk Road wasn't actually one road. It was a huge network of trade routes stretching across Asia, the Middle East, and parts of Europe. Think of it like today's internet. The internet isn't one cable, it's thousands of connected networks. The Silk Road worked the same way. Caravans carrying silk, spices, precious stones, horses, paper, perfumes, ivory, and countless other goods moved from city to city instead of traveling one continuous road. No single empire controlled the entire network, but some controlled the most valuable sections. The Kushans controlled one of the best. The Kushans didn't begin as a mighty empire. They were originally part of a larger group known as the Yuezhi, a nomadic people from Central Asia. After being pushed west by rival groups, they gradually settled in regions that today include parts of Afghanistan, Pakistan, northern India, and Central Asia. Instead of remaining scattered tribes, they united. Around the 1st century CE, one ruler brought several groups together. That ruler was Kujula Kadphises. He laid the foundation for what would become the Kushan Empire. Sometimes history isn't made by the biggest army. Sometimes it's made by the first person who convinces everyone to stop fighting each other. Here's why geography matters. Imagine owning the only bridge connecting two massive cities. Every truck, every tourist, every delivery, every traveler, they all pass by you. That's basically where the Kushans lived. Their territory connected the Roman world in the west with India in the south and China in the east. If merchants wanted to move valuable goods safely across large parts of Asia, Kushan territory was often one of the best routes available. That meant trade, lots of trade, and trade usually means taxes. The Kushans understood something modern countries still understand. Sometimes controlling trade is more profitable than producing everything yourself. They collected taxes on commerce, protected important routes, maintained cities where merchants could buy supplies, exchange currencies, hire guides, and rest before continuing their journeys. Imagine a highway full of trucks. Now imagine owning every service station along that highway. Fuel, food, hotels, repairs. That's a pretty good business. The Kushans built something similar, just with camels instead of trucks. The name Silk Road is actually a little misleading. Silk was important, but it was far from the only product being traded. Roman glass traveled east, Chinese silk traveled west, Indian spices moved in every direction. Ivory, cotton, jewelry, wine, horses, gold, silver, even exotic fruits and new farming techniques spread along these routes. Trade wasn't just about buying things, it was about exchanging ideas. This is where the Kushans became even more important. Goods weren't the only things crossing their empire. People carried languages, religions, art, science, architecture. One of the biggest examples was Buddhism. Under Kushan rule, Buddhism spread across Central Asia and eventually into China. Merchants, monks, and travelers often moved along the same routes. Trade routes became knowledge routes. Every caravan was carrying products, but it was also carrying culture. Every empire has a ruler people remember. For the Kushans, it was Kanishka the Great. His reign is often considered the empire's golden age. Trade flourished, cities expanded, art developed, Buddhism received significant royal support. Historians also credit this period with encouraging cultural exchange between different civilizations. Kanishka ruled over a remarkably diverse empire, different languages, different religions, different traditions. Instead of forcing everyone into one culture, the empire often allowed many traditions to coexist. That made trade easier. Merchants generally prefer stability over chaos. Shocking, I know. One reason historians know so much about the Kushans is their coins. They produced high-quality gold and copper coins featuring rulers, symbols, and deities from different cultures. Some coins include Greek influences, others feature Persian or Indian traditions. This tells us something important. The Kushans weren't isolated, they were connected. Their currency also helped merchants trade more efficiently across large distances. When people trust money, trade becomes much easier. The same principle applies whether you're buying groceries or shipping silk across continents. Imagine you're a merchant. You leave China with silk. Months later, you're still traveling. You cross mountains, deserts, busy cities, different languages, different foods, different governments. Your success depends on safe roads and stable markets. The Kushan Empire offered many traders exactly that. Its cities became meeting places where merchants from completely different cultures could do business. Think of them as ancient international airports without the security lines. No empire lasts forever. Over time, the Kushans faced pressure from neighboring powers. Internal political changes weakened central authority. Regional rivals gained strength. Trade routes also shifted as political conditions changed. Gradually, the empire broke apart. Its territory was absorbed by other kingdoms and empires. The trade didn't suddenly stop, but the Kushans were no longer the ones controlling some of its most important sections. So why aren't the Kushans as famous as Rome or Egypt? Partly because later empires left behind larger monuments that survived more visibly. Partly because school history often focuses on Europe, Egypt, Greece, and Rome. And partly because the Kushans were connectors. They helped other civilizations exchange goods and ideas rather than dominating historical narratives themselves. Ironically, one of history's greatest trading empires became overshadowed by the civilizations it helped connect. The Kushans remind us that power doesn't always come from conquering everyone. Sometimes it comes from connecting everyone. By controlling key trade routes, protecting merchants, and encouraging cultural exchange, they helped shape commerce across Asia for centuries. The Silk Road wasn't simply about luxury goods. It helped spread inventions, religions, technologies, artistic styles, and knowledge between civilizations that otherwise might never have met. The Kushans stood right in the middle of that exchange. The Silk Road was a network, not one road. The Kushans emerged from the Yuezhi people. They controlled a strategic crossroads in Central Asia. Trade made them wealthy. Taxes on commerce funded the empire. Goods moved across their territory. Ideas moved with them. Buddhism spread during their rule. Kanishka oversaw the empire's golden age. Eventually, political pressures and changing trade patterns weakened the empire, but their impact on world history remained. So the next time you order something that traveled halfway around the world, remember this. Global trade isn't a modern invention. 2,000 years ago, camel caravans were already connecting continents, and one forgotten kingdom helped make it possible. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of history's most overlooked empires, leave a like, subscribe, and comment another forgotten civilization you'd like explained next.